she came over into my yard and tore up plants and beat on my back door and threatened me. I was chasing her out of my yard and trying to prevent additional property damage. I had delivered a note previous in the evening that clearly told her to stay off of my property and stay away from me.
Right here, we're here in cause 24S243. We have the plaintiff Jenny L. Kiriconi present. We have the defendant Chris Akerson present as well. We are here for trial. It looks like plaintiff is requesting reimbursement in the amount of $10,000 for injuries requiring hospital and theft of art display. So today we're going to let Ms. Kiriconi go first. She's going to give her side of the story. When she is done, I will then ask the defendant, Mr. Akerson, to go forward with his side of the story. I ask that both parties just speak to me, don't speak to each other, please. Hello, I just want to confirm before we begin, is there an active restraining order between the two of you? Okay,
Yeah.
So I just ask then that you and Ms. Kiriconi please do not talk to each other during this proceeding. I understand we don't really have the ability to not be present in front of each other, but
I'm not afraid and I don't have anything to say to her. I have a question for you. Do you mind, Your Honor? Do I have to be here for that part to listen to her? Because I really don't want to even hear her voice.
No, you don't have to be present at all. When it's your husband's turn, if I'm correct, I'll just ask him to begin. He can take a brief second to call you in then, but you don't need to be present during this at all.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Kiriconi, please begin with your statement.
Your Honor, I come before you today to ask for restitution for the injuries that were perpetrated onto me almost 2 years ago by the spousal equivalent of the defendant. Mr. Akerson has been aware for quite some time that he has severe mental health problems. She has been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, which comes with things like the compulsion to lie and create havoc and such. He also knows that she is prone to violence and, in fact, is aware that I have seen Hightower act physically hostile toward the defendant. It was during a home visit in December of 2019 when she struck him with both a closed fist and an open palm. The plaintiff knew that helping Hightower by providing vegetable food, flowers, edibles from my garden during the summer of 23, when Ms. Hightower had up to 200 rabbits crowding her property.
Come on.
She came over while I was out of town and destroyed my bee and butterfly garden, which I had put a couple hundred hours in, removed flower to include hyacinth and crocus. She destroyed perennial plants and seeds that I had put in for the bees and butterflies. Anyway, when I found out that Hightower had destroyed, because I was very, very upset by it, she ran home screaming, and in the process went through my yard and pulled up flowers and foliage and threw it across my yard. I, being the person that I am, delivered a note to Hightower saying that she needed to stay away from me, stay off of my property, stay away from my garden and my pets. And with it, I delivered a bouquet of edible vegetable, Swiss chard, spinach, kale, mustard greens and such. And I note and the foliage for her rabbits on the back of her car. Approximately an hour and a half later, his partner, who he knew was upset with me and had the potential to be violent, he was coming over here. When she arrived, she pounded on my back door and the side of my house. She went through my yard again and pulled up signs and threw them down. She pulled an entire tree that I had started from a seed, a small ginkgo, out of the ground. She threw things in the seats. And if you will look at the evidence I have provided, you will see pictures of Hightower pointing to herself. There are police way in the background, but you can see foliage on the sidewalks and signs pulled up. She then into my front yard. I know because I went outside. I didn't know what the ruckus was. I noticed the signs pulled up. I noticed the foliage torn. I walked toward the front of my house. She was then in my front yard. She was reaching into the raised bed I have up there, and she screamed at me, "I'm going to kick your ass and put you in the hospital." I wanted to defend my property, Your Honor. So I went up into the yard so I could get a little stake to support my tree and to chase Hightower out of my yard. I out of the yard with a flimsy garden stake, and I smacked her once on her hip. She turned, grabbed the garden stake from me, proceeded to beat me about the head and face, struck my body, the stick broke, and then she attacked me. She attacked my face. She attacked my arms. She managed to get me into a headlock after directly punching me in the eye. Her friend came out because Dawn was screaming at the top of the lungs. She had never stopped screaming from the time she was at my back door. She had her forearm across my throat. Her friend had grabbed me from behind and pinned my arms to my side. Dawn bit the top of my head, continued to punch my face, while Mr. Akerson stood there and did absolutely nothing. If you will look at this he provided, he says that he broke up the fight, which is not true. He never touched her. He never stepped between us. He did absolutely nothing to stop her from hitting me over and over and over again while I was defending. He made false statements saying that I started it when he was not even present at my back door when she assaulted it. The woman who held me, Ms. Hightower's best friend, came from all the way in her backyard, close to 150 feet away, to restrain me so that Hightower continued to beat up on me until the police arrived. In the statement of that woman, which Mr. Akerson provided, she says that she waited with Hightower until the police arrived. She never let go of me, and Dawn never quit hitting me until the police were on site. At the time, I ran away. It triggered another PT episode for me. I'm a disabled veteran. And then, this last October, Mr. Akerson, in full view of me, I don't know how many times before, I don't know how many times she's done it before, but he came over on that day and stole yard signs. My displays. He had no right to come onto my property and take anything. Everything I had on my yard is by the First Amendment. It says that I can post opinions, beliefs, suppositions, facts, and art in the broadest sense. However, none of those signs went up there at all until after I won my small claims case against Ms. Hightower for in September of 2023. And she
Ms.
has
Caraconi, Ms. Caraconi, please provide me that case number.
23 Sierra 126. It has moved to Superior Court and is now 2420127308. The judge awarded 9% interest, and as of today, she owes $11,461.19. Been $530 since the judgment. They have conspired to move assets into Mr. Akerson's. So, to get the restitution that I deserve and have been awarded, I have chosen to go against Mr. Akerson because he has an obligation when he knows his spouse is mentally ill and violent and could potentially do violence to someone to warn that. He did nothing to warn me. He did nothing to prevent her in a hospital for 10 days. After I received the documents that Mr. Akerson provided, I thought you should have some supplementary documents, Your Honor, to prove that I was in the hospital for 10 days, that I was given CT scans of my head, my neck, my face, my jaw, because of how badly beaten I was by his partner, and he could have done something to prevent it, and he chose not to. Then he lied on his police statements, and he has continued to protect her. And here are some of the lies that knows that she has made against me. That I am not disabled. That I tried to seduce her husband. That I carry knives or scissors for protection. That I have been naked in the street. That I have yelled at cars about Hightower. That she does not owe me the $11,000 plus. That she has not stolen from me. That I have an alcohol problem. That I lied to the judge in the small claims case that I was awarded. She has also said that she has nerve damage from a minor wound and she has never provided any evidence. She keeps saying disabled, has never provided any evidence. She made accusations of sexual assault against a male acquaintance on social media. She stated in her...
It's nothing to do with the case of this cure. Please stay to what we're trying to get reimbursement for.
Are
you still testifying, Ms. Kirikoni?
No, I thought I heard you ask a question, Your Honor. So
yeah, I said, could you please just stay to the matter at hand, which is specifically injuries requiring hospitalization and theft of an art display. If we could just stay on topic with what you're requesting, I'd appreciate it.
Well, I'm just what she has said. Okay. And now these lies are showing up on police reports. I do not carry knives and scissors, but because of her lies, this has showed up in a police report. I am not dangerous. I defended myself in a reasonable manner, which I have the right to do. She was attacking my property and she threatened to attack me. I defended myself in a reasonable manner, which I have the right to do. My injuries put me in the hospital for 10 days. I am still dealing with the consequences because of the triggering of PTSD. It's very difficult to be autistic and have PTSD as well. And it's been a challenge living here the last 2 years with her harassing me. And I need money so I can get out of here and away from all of that. So, Your Honor, I ask that you award me the $10,000 because although it's claimed that the signs were returned, they have never been in my yard. They were removed either that same or something, but they were not here when I got back to my home. Thank you. Oh, do you want to speak? I have a witness.
Yes, I'm gonna ask you some questions. So First and foremost, what were these yard displays?
There was a sign that said, something about strong standing. I'm still standing. There were signs that said, I enjoy watching the dawn breaking because I'm a fan of pig racing and not roller derby, box derby. Well, I enjoy watching the losers fail. So I had one up there that said, I enjoy watching losers fail. I had signs up that said things about, I am afraid of my neighbor, which is true. I put up beliefs. I put up statements about what happened to me. There it is. I'm still standing. Yeah, I'm still tenacious, alive, nice, decent, inventive. Yeah, a nature lover.
Did these signs also include, I believe Dawn Hightower is the worst Longview, Washington resident now living. Find the self-professed person with antisocial personality disorder at 361 18th Avenue.
There may have been one like that, yeah. And I believe that is also covered by the First Amendment, which says that I can
Not
state.
covered by the First Amendment when people's privacy rights are put out on display, as well as harm can come their way. Your First Amendment does not apply to that. Did you also put a sign up that said Retribution cometh?
No. I do not know anything about that sign. I don't know where it came from. I have no knowledge about that sign.
I believe Dawn Hightower wants me dead. Was this another sign that you put up?
Yes. Well, she did try to choke me to her honor when she attacking me.
Not paying your court-ordered 10K judgment plus 9% plus your choice to not use mediation. Your debt goes to a collection agency. Bad decision, Baldy.
I have friends who find the term baldy affectionate, and it doesn't state anyone's personal name. And so, if somebody wants to take it personally, that is up to them. But not paying court-ordered judgment can result in collection agencies and court cases, small claims judge. It can result in having property.
361 18th owes me money.
Pardon me?
Property owner of 361 18th owes me money. Is this also one of the signs that you're seeking?
So a true statement. I can state facts according to my First Amendment rights.
You cannot state facts that put others' individual privacy rights at issue. Okay. Where in here are the hospital bills totaling $9,000, please? Can you show me that exhibit?
No, I do not have a hospital bill for $9,000 to show you. I didn't know that I would be required one. I thought that showing you the entry and exit dates and the pictures and the documents for these scans and such would be adequate.
Just want to confirm this happened on 6/15/2023, correct?
This is correct.
Okay, because the only patient report I have actually comes from respondents' exhibits that you are aware of that says that you were brought into the emergency department, that you were under the influence, and that you were brought in for an involuntary treatment act criteria, danger to self and others. Because this is from the law enforcement patient report. Jenny placed several items in someone's vehicle and assaulted the owner of the vehicle. Jenny attacked the owner, causing others to assist in stopping Jenny. This is the only patient report I have.
Jenny was not under the influence. The toxicology report from the hospital has been provided to you, and you will see that it is negative.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, so is this from that same event?
That is correct. And
okay.
she attacked my property and me. I was defending myself. Now,
Okay. Right.
Oh.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Okay, do you have, and your testimony was that you hit her on the hip with a stake.
it's a very flimsy plant stake. They're about less than half an inch in diameter, and it
They're
broke.
over half an inch and they're made out of
I'm
steel.
sorry, Mr. Akerson, it's not your time to speak yet, but I will let you speak, I promise. So it's your testimony that you hit her on the hip with a stake, and that's what started this
What started
incident.
that she came over into my yard and tore up plants and beat on my back door and threatened me. I was chasing her out of my yard and trying to prevent additional property damage. I had delivered a note previous in the evening that clearly told her to stay off of my property and stay away from me. She
My
violated.
question is, again, Ms. Caraconi, though, is I understand what you said, and I heard that. I'm saying the first time when anybody's personal body got touched was when you hit her with a stake.
I don't know.
All right. Do you have any additional testimony or any witnesses to testify on your behalf?
The only person I have here to testify on my behalf is a person who can testify that they have also been threatened by Ms. Hightower and have seen Mr. Akerson hit by Ms. Hightower, and to back up the statements that she's basically dangerous.
Okay, who's the individual?
Her name is Arliss McCall.
And what connection does she have to this matter? Where does she live?
She lives in the neighborhood.
Where does she live in the neighborhood?
I live across the street in a house over. I deal with
Okay.
dogs.
All right, 1 second. If you want to testify, please come forward.
I didn't know I had to.
Yeah, you have to testify. You have to put your right hand up. This is going to be on the record. Everyone's going to be able to look at you and hear this. So, okay, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the whole truth during this proceeding?
I do.
There you are. Thank you. What testimony do you have that would contribute to the $9,000 injuries being requested by Ms. Curaconi, or the theft of an art display?
Well, my comments are in regards to Dawn's behavior and what I've seen her do and what I went through dealing with this woman.
Go ahead. Please stay in the camera and go ahead and testify.
Well, it was pleasant, I put it mildly. And I asked her, like she did, to leave me alone, but she would come back and always with another problem with these rabbits. And I finally had enough, and I've just been avoiding her. It's terrible to have to avoid people that aren't all there. It was bad.
Okay. Ms. McCall, this is a case against Mr. Akerson, though. This has nothing to do with Dawn right now. So this is against Mr. Akerson. Do you have anything to say against Mr. Akerson?
Not against him, no, but I have seen her hit him. So
Okay.
just pushed it off like it happened before. That's
Okay. All right. Do you have anything else to testify about, ma'am?
no, I just didn't want no more trouble from her
Okay.
or
All
whatever.
right. Okay. Well, thank you for your testimony. Ms. Curaconi, do you have anything additional?
Just looking through everything, Your Honor, make sure that everything has been covered. I believe I've covered everything, Your Honor.
Thank you. I guess my last question to you, Ms. Curaconi, is how did you come up with the $1,000 valuation for your signs?
The time it to gather the money to purchase materials, the time it took to go and purchase the materials, the time it took to make the signs, the time it took to arrange the signs, and the intrinsic value of the art itself, especially my sign that said, I enjoy watching the dawn breaking. I do. I get up before sunrise every morning, and it is my favorite time of the day. They meant a lot to me, though.
What I'm asking is, was the sign, which is interesting that Dawn is the same first name as the individual in question right now. Was that up before the small claims trial happened?
I don't know. I don't know exactly, Your Honor. But it's possible.
And where in your exhibits are, I guess, just the itemized reports of how much all these materials cost?
I did not believe I would have to provide receipts, Your Honor. That could be possible, though. If you would like me to.
No, because you were supposed to have submitted your exhibits already. So everything that's been submitted is everything right there is. So let me understand this. You were awarded a $10,000 default judgment in September of 2023. You have not received any money from defendant Hightower in that matter. And now you're just trying to sue her husband for the money that you have not received from her?
Well, this is a community property state, and he did absolutely nothing to prevent this when he could have, when he was legally obligated to. A person knows that their spouse is violent and has the potential to do violence onto someone else, and they have the chance to prevent it. They have a duty to do so. He failed to.
I know everything about the duty to act, and the duty to act revolves around personal property when someone is on their own property and they have to report to them whether there is something that could cause injury or whether someone is trying to save someone from a situation and in turn causes more injury to them during their duty of action. In this situation, you have stated that they were on your property when this occurred.
No, it was out in the street by this time, Your Honor. It was in public.
That's nobody's property then, that's public property.
Right. And he still had an obligation to prevent her from beating my face in when he could have, because he knows that she is dangerous. He knows because she hits him. He is a battered husband. And
ma'am, we're not going to do any character insults at this time. We're just here for the facts of the matter. So thank you for your testimony. I've received everything I needed from you. At this point, we're going to go ahead and let the defendant take his turn. So Mr. Akerson, if you could please raise your right hand. Thank you, sir. Please go ahead with your testimony.
Well, the first thing is that she's suing me for body injuries, which I wasn't involved in the fight, first of all.
Chris Aserson finally gets to speak. He says the plant stake wasn't flimsy. It was half-inch metal rebar covered in plastic. He admits he took Jenny's signs because they were pointed at his house for months. He says, I got so frustrated. I just went out there and grabbed them. He says he gave the signs back to the police officer, who placed them in Jenny's yard. He denies touching Jenny during the fight. He says his intention was to break up the fight. But when he got there, Jenny had her mouth on his wife's arm. He says a neighbor helped break it up. The judge is now hearing two completely different versions of the same event. Jenny says Chris did nothing. Chris says he tried to help. The judge will have to decide who's more credible. But without evidence, no video, no independent witnesses to the assault, this is a he said, she said case.
Second of all, I know it was hard for me to contain not speaking when she was talking because she's lying, and it's frustrating. this flimsy little plant stake she's talking about is a half-inch metal rebar covered with plastic. It's a plant, it's like a tree stake. It's a hard object. So anyway, the fight was in her yard, not in the street, Jenny, in your yard, but you don't remember that.
Ms. Akerson, Mr. Akerson, please just speak to me so we don't have any issues.
Okay. At any rate, yes. When I went out, you got to remember, these signs are pointed at my house. They're not pointed on Beach Street. They're pointed at my house. And I've been looking at these signs every day for months on end. And I got just so frustrated that Jenny was out there. So I just went out there and I grabbed them. And she says, "These are my signs. You can't have them." And I said, "Why are you so mean?" To her. And she didn't reply back. And she says, "Give me back my signs." I says, "No, I'm taking them. I don't like you, displaying this stuff anymore." So I took them. And yes, she called the police. Officer Slate came over and knocked on my door and he said, "Did you take Jenny's sign?" I said, "Yes, I did, but I don't think she, you have to understand where I'm coming from. This doesn't seem right that she can post these signs in her yard. It's upsetting. It's upsetting to me. It's upsetting to my wife, and I don't think she should be doing this." And he says, "Well, it's out of my hands," he said. I said, "Well, fine. They're in my truck. I'll get them for you." So I grabbed it, I gave him the signs. He went over there and placed them in her yard. Later on, she got arrested. So, and now she's saying I took her signs. Yes, initially, but if you can check with Officer Slate, he took them back. And in fact, he knocked on her door and I heard she didn't come to the door. And Officer Slate says, "Jenny, your signs are in your yard." And that was it. And then lo and behold, 2 hours go by. Next thing I know, we've got 5, 6, 7 cop cars surrounding her house and she's locked inside. She's not coming out. And then, I think finally around midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, she finally came out. She was hiding underneath their house and she came out. But I did not touch Jenny. Yes, I went out there. My intention was to go out there and break up the fight, to be honest with you. But when I got out there, I wasn't quite sure where to go because Jenny had her mouth on my wife's arm. And then a neighbor, Autumn, she came over and held her. They broke the fight up, and Jenny went inside the house. That was 2 years ago. But you want me to go into that? I can. That whole incident started because we just pulled some weeds for her as a favor because she wasn't feeling well, and these are slow partition between the road and the sidewalk is I don't even know what they call that, but there's a little area there where she had some plants and stuff, and we just pulled the weeds. We didn't pull her plants. None of the stuff she was talking about, whatever plants there were, we just pulled the weeds, and she took offense to that, so she went and grabbed when she found out that we did it, she was upset. So
the judge heard testimony from both sides in a neighbor dispute that escalated from pulled weeds to a 10-day hospitalization. Jenny Chiron is seeking $10,000 for injuries and the theft of her art display. Signs that included statements like, "I enjoy watching losers fail," and "Retribution cometh." She claims she was attacked by her neighbor's wife, Dawn, while the husband, Chris Aserson, did nothing. Chris admits he took the signs because they were pointed at his house for months, but denies participating in the fight. He says Jenny had her mouth on his wife's arm when he arrived. The judge noted that Jenny had no receipts for her claimed $9,000 in hospital bills and no receipts for the signs materials. She also pointed out that a police report from the incident described Jenny as the aggressor. The broader implication here is crucial. When you file a civil lawsuit, you need evidence, receipts, medical records, independent witnesses. Without them, your claim is just a story. And when two stories contradict each other, The judge has to decide who's telling the truth, or find that neither side has met their burden. This case is a reminder that neighbor disputes rarely end well, and when they end up in court, everyone loses something. If you found this case breakdown as fascinating as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns. We'll see you in the next session.